There comes a time in your life when God begins to separate you from the people who were never meant to go where He is taking you. It is not a loss, it is a revelation. Because not everyone who walks with you is truly for you. Not everyone who claps for you believes in you. And not everyone who smiles at you carries good intentions in their heart. God is a God of truth. And when He has a purpose for you, He will not allow deception to stay hidden. He will allow situations to arise, circumstances to shift, and even storms to come. Not to break you, but to reveal who is truly with you. Because the wrong people cannot stay where the presence of God is taking you. Sometimes you wonder why betrayal comes from the ones you trusted. You question why a friend turns into an enemy. But the truth is, God is answering a prayer you never even prayed. He is exposing what you could not see. Because fake people can pretend for a season, but they cannot endure the testing of time. When God begins to elevate you, the weight of your calling will separate the real from the counterfeit. Judas walked with Jesus. He sat at the table. He saw the miracles. He heard the teachings. But when the time of testing came, his true heart was revealed. And Jesus did not beg him to stay, because not everyone can go where destiny is calling. Some people are in your life only for a moment. Some connections are temporary assignments, not permanent alignments. So when people walk away, let them go. When deception is exposed, don't fight it. When relationships shift, trust that God is making room for those who are meant to stay. Because when God removes someone, it is always for your protection. He is clearing the way for something greater. And if you hold on to what He is trying to remove, you may miss what He is trying to bring when God begins to move in your life. One of the most challenging things to accept is the removal of certain people. It is difficult to understand why relationships suddenly shift, why close friends become distant, or why people you once trusted turn against you. But what seems like a painful loss is often divine protection. God does not allow anything to be taken from you without purpose. When He removes someone from your life, it is not to break you, but to preserve the destiny He has prepared for you. People are often attached to seasons, and not everyone in your life is meant to stay forever. There are those who come for a reason, some for a season, and only a few for a lifetime. Many times we try to hold on to people longer than we should. We fight for relationships that God is trying to end. We chase after people who were never meant to be permanent. But when God starts to remove people, He is making room for something greater. He is protecting you from connections that would have delayed, distracted, or even destroyed the purpose He has set before you. God sees what you cannot see. He hears the conversations you were never meant to hear. He knows the thoughts of people's hearts before they ever speak a word. While you look at actions, He sees intentions. While you judge based on what people show, He knows what they truly believe. And because of His love for you, He will not allow deception to remain hidden forever. He will begin to expose those who are not truly for you. He will reveal the hearts of those who secretly envy you, those who pretend to support you but hope for your failure, those who smile in your presence but speak against you in your absence. He will not let you be attached to something that could cost you your purpose. At times, the removal of certain people is the very thing that saves you. There are people who appear to be with you, but their presence is keeping you from stepping into the next level of your destiny. Some relationships create unnecessary burdens. Some friendships weaken your faith. Some connections drain your energy and keep you bound to cycles that prevent growth. And because God is leading you into something greater, He will not allow wrong attachments to hold you back. One of the hardest things to do is let go of people you thought would always be in your life. The human heart craves stability, and losing people can feel like losing a part of yourself. But if you look closely, you will see that every time God removed someone, He was preparing you for something better. He was shifting you into a place of greater clarity, greater peace, and greater alignment with His will. You may not understand it at the moment, but in time, you will see that what He took away was never meant to stay. God is not a God of confusion. He does not take without purpose. He does not separate without reason. When he starts to remove people, it is always for your protection. It may not feel like protection in the moment. It may feel like rejection, abandonment, or betrayal. But later you will realize that what left your life was not a loss. It was a setup for the blessing he was preparing. Some people cannot handle the weight of where you are going. Some connections were only meant to teach you a lesson, not to walk with you into the future. Holding on to the wrong people can delay what God is trying to do. It can keep you stuck in places you were meant to leave. When you trust that his plans are higher than yours, you will learn to release what he removes without resistance. Fake people can only pretend for a season, but time and testing will always reveal their true nature. It is easy for someone to wear a mask, to speak the right words, to appear loyal and supportive when everything is going well. But when challenges arise, when pressure increases, when the seasons change, that is when the truth comes out. You do not truly know people in moments of comfort. You know them in moments of testing. Some people are only connected to you because of what they can receive from you. They celebrate you when you benefit them, but when you no longer serve their purpose, their loyalty fades. They appear to be with you when the circumstances are favorable, but as soon as difficulty arises, they begin to distance themselves. This is because their connection was never based on genuine love or commitment. It was based on convenience. Time exposes what words cannot. A person can say they will always be by your side, but only time will prove if their words were true. God allows seasons of testing not to harm you, but to reveal what has been hidden. The people around you may say the right things, but their hearts will eventually be exposed through their actions. You may have people in your life who seem supportive, but deep down they do not truly celebrate your success. Some may pretend to be your friends, but when an opportunity comes to betray you, they will take it without hesitation. It is through trials that their true character is revealed. It is through challenges that their motives become clear. Even Jesus experienced this. Judas walked with him, ate with him, and witnessed his miracles. For years he appeared to be a disciple, but when the time came, his true heart was revealed. It was not in the moments of Jesus' teachings or miracles that Judas' betrayal became evident. It was in the moment of testing. When the opportunity arose, he traded his loyalty for silver. This is what happens when people are not truly for you. They may walk with you for a time, but when pressure comes, when their own interests are at stake, they will show who they really are. This is why it is important not to be deceived by appearances. Some people can imitate faithfulness, but they cannot sustain it. They can act like they care, but when tested, their selfishness is exposed. A person who is only in your life for their own benefit will not stay when they no longer receive what they want. A person who secretly envies you will not celebrate your victories when they surpass their own expectations. A person who carries hidden resentment will not support you when you rise higher than they anticipated. God does not allow these revelations to harm you, but to protect you. It is better to know now who is real and who is not than to be deceived later. Some betrayals come as painful experiences, but they are actually divine revelations. They show you who is truly meant to walk with you and who was only there for a moment. Without these tests, you might continue trusting people who do not deserve your trust. You might continue sharing your dreams with those who secretly hope for your failure. You might continue depending on those who would abandon you when you need them most. Time and testing are the greatest tools of exposure. People cannot fake who they truly are forever. Eventually, their actions will align with their heart. Eventually, situations will arise that force them to reveal their true nature. Those who are genuine will remain, but those who are not will be exposed. It may be painful to see some relationships change, but it is necessary for your growth. It is through these revelations that God aligns you with the right people, those who are truly meant to walk with you into your purpose. Separation is a necessary part of elevation. When God begins to take you to a higher level, not everyone around you will be able to go with you. It is one of the most difficult things to accept, but it is a principle that cannot be avoided. Some people are attached to you only for the season you are in, and when that season changes, their purpose in your life comes to an end. The challenge is that we often try to hold on to what God is trying to remove. We want to bring people into a future that they were never meant to enter. Growth always brings separation. The moment you step into a new level of purpose, new challenges, and new responsibilities, you will notice that certain relationships begin to shift. Some people who were once close to you will begin to distance themselves. Some will no longer understand you. Some will even begin to oppose you. This is because your elevation exposes their limitations. Not everyone is willing to grow with you, and when you move forward, they feel left behind. Instead of celebrating your progress, they begin to resent it. Instead of supporting your calling, they start questioning it. There are people who are comfortable with you as long as you stay at a certain level. As long as you do not rise above them, they will support you. As long as your success does not challenge their comfort, they will walk with you. But the moment you start stepping into your divine assignment, the moment you start breaking out of the familiar, the moment you start growing beyond what they expected, their true feelings begin to show. Some will become jealous. Some will criticize. Some will try to hold you back, not because they do not care, but because they cannot handle the changes that come with your growth. God will allow these separations because He knows that some people would become a hindrance to your destiny. If you take the wrong people with you into the next level, they will bring unnecessary weight. They will create distractions. They will introduce doubts where faith is required. They will hold on to old mindsets when God is trying to introduce you to new ways of thinking. They will resist what God is trying to do in your life because they were never designed to be part of that chapter. There is a reason why eagles fly alone. Not every bird can reach the altitude of an eagle. Some can only go so high before the air becomes too thin for them. In the same way, not everyone can handle the level where God is taking you. If you try to carry people who were never meant to go with you, you will slow yourself down. You will spend more time trying to convince them of your vision than actually pursuing it. You will waste energy trying to explain your calling to those who were never meant to understand it. One of the greatest lessons in life is learning to release people when their season in your life is over. It is not always because they are bad, and it is not always because of conflict. Sometimes their assignment in your life has simply been completed. The problem comes when we try to force relationships that have expired. We try to keep people connected to us when God is clearly showing us that it is time to let go. Elevation requires separation. Every new level will require new connections, new mindsets, and a new circle of influence. When you recognize this, you will stop fighting what God is trying to do. You will stop holding on to what is meant to be released. You will embrace the process, knowing that every separation is making room for something greater. Betrayal is often an answer to a prayer you didn't know you prayed. It does not feel like a blessing when it happens, but in time, you realize that God was answering you in a way you did not expect. Sometimes we ask God to reveal who is truly for us, and He does so by allowing certain people to betray us. We pray for wisdom and discernment, and He exposes the hidden intentions of those around us. We ask Him to protect us from harm, and He allows someone's true character to be revealed before they can do greater damage. Betrayal is painful because it comes from those we trust. A stranger cannot betray you. Only someone close enough to know your heart can cause that kind of wound. It is the friend you confided in, the person you supported, the one you stood by during their struggles. It is the one you never expected to turn against you. But betrayal is not a sign that you are weak. It is often proof that you are stepping into a new level of purpose. The closer you get to your destiny, the more God will expose those who cannot be trusted in the next season of your life. God allows betrayal because it forces separation. There are some people we would never walk away from unless they revealed their true colors. We would keep trusting, keep hoping, and keep holding on, even when God is showing us signs that the relationship is not meant to last. But when betrayal happens, it removes the illusion. It forces you to see reality. It makes it clear who is truly for you and who is only pretending. It prevents you from taking the wrong people into the next stage of your journey. Even Jesus experienced betrayal, and it was part of God's plan. Judas was one of his disciples. He walked with him, learned from him, and even performed miracles in his name. But when the opportunity came, he sold Jesus for 30 pieces of silver. Jesus knew the betrayal was coming, yet he did not stop it. He understood that it was necessary for the fulfillment of his purpose. Without Judas, the path to the cross would not have been completed. Without betrayal, the destiny of salvation would not have unfolded in the way God intended. Sometimes the people who betray you are actually pushing you closer to your purpose. They think they are harming you, but they're positioning you for what God has prepared. They believe they're working against you, but they are unknowingly helping to remove the wrong relationships from your life. If Judas had remained loyal, he would have stayed close to Jesus for years. But his betrayal ensured that he removed himself from the story. In the same way, when someone betrays you, they are making the decision to exit your life. And God allows it for a reason. Betrayal teaches you to depend on God more than people. It reminds you that human relationships, no matter how strong, can fail, but God never will. It sharpens your discernment so that you no longer place your trust in words alone, but in actions and consistency. It strengthens you because once you overcome betrayal, you realize that it did not break you. It exposed what was false so that you could build on what is true. It was not meant to destroy you. It was meant to redirect you toward the people who are truly aligned with your purpose. God never wastes pain. He never allows betrayal without a purpose. It is a painful process, but it is also a revelation. It is His way of removing distractions, strengthening your faith, and preparing you for the greater things ahead. When you understand this, you no longer see betrayal as a setback, but as a necessary part of your journey. Do not hold on to what God is trying to remove. When God begins to shift things in your life, one of the greatest mistakes you can make is resisting His process. We often pray for growth, for new opportunities, for greater wisdom, but when God starts to answer those prayers, it does not always come in the way we expect. Sometimes the answer comes in the form of separation. Sometimes it comes in the form of relationships ending, connections breaking, and people walking away. When this happens, it is easy to feel like something is going wrong, but in reality, God is making room for what is right. Holding on to the wrong people can delay what God is trying to do. There are relationships that drain you more than they build you. There are connections that keep you tied to an old version of yourself that no longer fits where you are going. But because of comfort, familiarity, and fear of change, we try to hold on. We convince ourselves that if we just try harder, if we just explain more, if we just wait a little longer, things will change. But when God is removing something, no amount of effort can make it stay. The more you try to keep it, the more frustration you invite into your life. God sees what you do not see. He knows the conversations that happen behind your back. He knows the hearts of people when you are not around. He knows the thoughts and intentions that will never be spoken out loud. When He removes someone, it is never without reason. He's not taking them away to hurt you. He is taking them away to protect you. But if you continue to hold on, you put yourself in a position where you may suffer consequences that were never meant for you. Letting go is one of the hardest things to do, but it is also one of the most freeing. When you let go of what is not meant for you, you make space for what is. When you stop forcing relationships that are no longer aligned with your destiny, you allow God to bring people who truly belong. But as long as your hands are full of what He is trying to remove, you will not have the capacity to receive what He is trying to give. Growth requires trust. Trusting that if God is taking something away, He knows what He is doing. Trusting that if a relationship is ending, it is not by accident. trusting that if a door is closing, it is because there is another one that is meant to open. Many times we fight so hard to keep what is leaving that we miss what is coming. We hold on to friendships that have expired, to relationships that no longer bring peace, to places that no longer feel like home, simply because we are afraid of change. But when you refuse to let go, you stay stuck in a season that was meant to be temporary. God does not remove people to leave you empty. He removes them to make room for the right people, the right opportunities, and the right environment for your growth. If you keep holding on to what is wrong, you will never step into what is right. If you keep chasing what God is trying to close, you will never find the doors He is opening. It is painful to lose people, but it is even more painful to lose your destiny because you refuse to let go. Separation is not rejection, it is redirection. It is God saying there is more for you. It is His way of shifting you out of places that no longer serve you and into places that align with your purpose. If you trust Him, you will see that what He removes was never meant to last. You will see that every loss was actually a step towards something greater. And when you finally release what was never meant to stay, you will step into everything that was always meant to be. True relationships withstand trials, while fake ones fade under pressure. It is easy for people to claim loyalty when things are comfortable, but true commitment is tested in adversity. Anyone can celebrate with you when you are winning. Anyone can walk with you when the path is smooth. But when challenges arise, when difficulties come, when life shakes the foundation of your relationships, that is when the truth is revealed. Pressure exposes what words cannot. Trials separate the genuine from the counterfeit. Some people only stay because of what they can receive from you. They enjoy the benefits of being connected to you. But the moment those benefits are gone, they disappear. They are present when things are good, but when hardship comes, they are nowhere to be found. They were never truly committed to you. They were committed to their own comfort. As long as the relationship served their interests, they stayed. But when it required sacrifice, when it required patience, when it required standing by you in difficult times, their absence spoke louder than their words ever did. God allows pressure to come into your life not to harm you, but to reveal what is real. A relationship that cannot withstand difficulty was never built on a strong foundation. A friend who turns away when you need them the most was never truly a friend. A connection that falls apart under the weight of a challenge was never meant to last. God does not expose fake people to break you. He exposes them to protect you. He allows circumstances to shift so that you can see who is really for you and who is only pretending. Testing reveals character. A person's true nature is not seen in moments of comfort, but in moments of difficulty. If someone is only present when it benefits them, they were never truly with you. If someone supports you only when you are successful, but distances themselves when you struggle, their loyalty was never genuine. If someone claims to care, but cannot endure the process with you, their heart was never truly with you. This is why trials are necessary. Without them, you would continue trusting the wrong people. You would continue opening your heart to those who do not deserve access to it. You would continue sharing your dreams with those who secretly hope for your failure. God does not want you to be deceived, so He allows pressure to expose the truth. It may be painful, but it is necessary. It may feel like rejection, but it is actually protection. A true friend remains even when things are not easy. A real connection does not break under the weight of hardship. A relationship that is built on love, honor, and mutual respect does not fade just because the circumstances have changed. When God allows testing, it is because He wants you to see what is real. He wants you to stop wasting time on people who were never meant to stay. He wants you to recognize who is truly assigned to walk with you in your journey. Not everyone who starts with you is meant to finish with you. Some relationships are seasonal. And when the season shifts, the relationship ends. It does not always mean the person is bad, but it means their purpose in your life has been completed. When you understand this, you stop fighting to hold on to what is meant to fade. You stop questioning why certain people left. You stop trying to rebuild connections that were never meant to last. Instead, you focus on the ones who remain. Because the ones who stay, the ones who endure, the ones who stand with you in both joy and pain, those are the ones who are truly meant to walk with you into your destiny. When God begins to reveal the truth about the people in your life, it is not to break you, but to prepare you. Every betrayal, every separation, every moment of disappointment is a divine setup for your growth. What may seem like loss is actually protection. What may feel like rejection is actually redirection. God removes the wrong people so that the right ones can enter. He exposes fake relationships so that you no longer waste your energy on what is not meant for you. Do not fight what God is trying to reveal. Do not hold on to what he is trying to remove. Trust that every exposure, every moment of clarity, every painful lesson is leading you closer to your destiny. The people who truly belong in your life will remain. Those who are not meant to stay will reveal themselves in time. Let them go without regret, knowing that what God has for you will never require manipulation, begging, or compromise. Embrace the process. Accept the revelations. Walk in discernment. And remember, every removal is making space for something greater, something stronger, something truly aligned with your purpose. Stay faithful, stay focused, and trust that God is always leading you exactly where you need to be.